the one thing that's easy here. You can just plug right in. So, Alex, you're moving. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Tell us the
Tomorrow.
good word.
There we go. Connecting. Yeah, I'm moving tomorrow, and I'm moving from within the city I'm currently living, which is Oshawa, Ontario, Canada.
I was going to say, are you going to keep it that coy, really?
Yeah. So for all of yous out there, you can take a Google's. Take a look at the Google's.
House. It's 12 Main Street. There's no Main Street in Oshawa. Hey.
So the Discord is really not working at all, eh?
It's not working. It's working on my phone because people are still talking.
Okay.
But I'm having issues connecting. Unfortunately, we built our doable game around Discord, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. We've built everything on this free platform that's basically failing us now.
Oh, well, now it's ready. What about you guys? Are you guys
issues connecting? We are continuing to investigate.
I don't think we can rely on this.
What the heck?
Oh.
What in the blazes?
So, I'm also getting crazy echo now.
Yeah, it's me. My computer speakers just kicked back on.
Yeah!
The world just gone crazy.
So, Bob, now we're good.
Can you hear me?
Now there's we can hear you, but now there's mad echo. Colin, I think The Strange probably is canceled. It's 8:30. Joe works tomorrow at like 4 a.m. But that doesn't mean that night is over. Just don't know what the hell else we could do.
We're stuck inside The Strange.
Stuck
inside the computers.
I can tell you what would happen in tonight's game.
No, because we're still going to do it.
No.
I'm just kidding. The problem is with the echo and everything like that, I would totally do a pickup game right now, but I don't think it's... I can hear Aisha. Hi, Aisha.
Hi, Aisha.
Sorry. No, I don't.
Hi.
Don't be sorry at all.
Yeah. I don't know. We could. I don't know. Alex, ideas?
Tell stories.
Oh, crap.
Ghost stories?
Bob, your echo is so weird.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to have Isha look at it. She's my IT person.
That's okay.
I don't know. I need the computer speakers off and just to listen through the headset.
That's good.
Discord stopped working.
No,
Is your Discord still not working, Alex?
Correct.
Wow.
My Discord is not working.
Carly and Jessica say hi.
I noticed this early because my messages were red, and I was like, "Ooh, colored messages. Why are my messages red?" And then it was like delete or retry. So I'm like, obviously, do not send them. And maybe we should do a live, like a Reddit public access show right now.
Yeah, because this is quality content.
We want everyone to see this.
So
I'm going to turn off that.
Let's see here. What could we do?
Is the echo good now?
Oh,
No, it's worse.
Ah.
I don't know
If
what's
by
worse.
you mean like full-bodied and totally present, then yes, it is alive and well.
I wonder. It's so weird.
It's like you unplug the phone.
So weird.
It's still ringing.
Weird.
It's so weird.
The Strange.
Weird. You just
Test
repeat
it now.
everything I say.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Are you smelling my ears?
Yeah.
Smelling my ears?
That didn't do nothing.
Are you repeating me?
You're repeating me.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely answer some questions about dice shame or anything like that. We have Doran on here. We could talk about the community, or we can just call it. And I know you're moving tomorrow, Alex, so I don't know how much you want to wait around.
I'm okay. I'm not drinking tonight.
Oh, good.
That's ace.
Weird. What happened?
Do I?
One night you're not drinking, we can't stream a game.
Well, I thought, because I'm moving tomorrow, I should get drunk.
It's probably a good idea.
Irresponsible.
Every other night, that's a Wednesday, I just don't have an issue with
So
it.
they're
Oh, wait a
grabbing the
minute.
audio from Discord and the video from
I'm also out of booze.
No, we're not doing
That's
anything.
also a problem.
I think that's why it was echoing for me, because
Oh.
I think I had Bob on Discord still. I think
Yeah.
Aisha just nailed it.
Aisha.
Can you
Bob,
hear me?
yeah, now we're good. I think we're good.
It's perfect. And Aisha wins MVP.
You got
Yeah.
MVP.
So,
Cat laugh.
So they can't see you, they can just hear you now?
There, yeah, we can see and hear you,
This is
Bob.
perfect.
We're good.
Okay. All right.
for
We're
now.
good.
Yeah, we're good for now.
No echo.
No echo. It was totally my fault. Because Discord booted back up and we were still in the
This
call.
is what is known
Oh.
as gaslighting.
This is what we're no, unconscious
Everything's
gaslighting,
good. Yeah. Thank you.
accidental gaslighting.
Accident.
Love you.
Gaslighting.
Um,
Give her a kiss, Bob. God
kiss
damn
that
it.
girl. She's had a terrible day. She got in an accident today.
you gotta kiss that girl. Gotta
didn't get in
kiss
an
that
accident.
girl. Gotta kiss that girl.
That's a good song, Alex. Jessica asked a question that Alex has. Alex, here's something funny. Alex, what is malevolent?
What is malevolent?
Yeah.
Malevolent is a podcast that Harlan and Joe are doing for Patreon. Was that just Harlan? They're doing for Patreon supporters.
And what?
Very good.
Give me one detail of malevolent.
It's something to do with, it's like a form of Cthulhu, I think
It's
you're
a-
saying.
Cooking show. No, it is.
No, it's fine.
No, you know what's up, Alex.
He has a
Harlan's
brief
trying to give you
understanding.
shit.
I'm not trying to give you shit. I'm just laughing because Jessica asked a question. I have a character named Eddie in Malevolent, and she asked, she tagged both of us and said, is that Eddie from Malevolent the same Eddie as Call of Cthulhu 1? And I just knew that you have no fucking idea.
But you could pull the same shit on me and be like, hey, Joe, is Eddie from Malevolent the same one as Eddie from Call of Cthulhu 1? And I'd be like, who's Eddie?
But that's for a different reason. That's not because you hadn't heard Malevolent. That's because
I wasn't.
you weren't a part of the stream.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. What? That makes you 4. This is very wrong.
I'm a sexy 4-year-old.
Pretty crazy that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
What about Bob? Bob, are you running any games? Like not necessarily tonight, but recently?
Yeah, what's up in your RPG life?
Well, I haven't got back with everybody that was playing that Cthulhu game that I started on INVICTUS Con.
Oh yeah.
I am this Saturday. We're playing the second episode of that Star Wars RPG.
Awesome. I want to do a Star Wars RPG. I keep thinking about that.
We want to run one for Donald Faison. So if he
Yeah.
comes on, you can do that.
So we've been listening to Fake Doctors, Real Friends, which is Donald Faison and Zach Braff's podcast about Scrubs. It's a rewatch show. It's very good. And on it, like 2 episodes ago, Donald Faison talks about playing D&D like when he was in high school. And how
Well, he
would
grew up
play
in New
with,
York,
like, drug dealers.
and like, yeah, he's like, I used to play D&D with like drug dealers. He's like, there's nothing better than, Chiffon pulling out his +5 saber and like going to town on some goblins. And I was like, that's such a fucking funny perspective. I never thought
Zach
about.
Braff is like, why were you playing with drug dealers? And Donald's like,
He's like,
because
everyone
I was friends with
yeah,
drug
yeah,
dealers.
exactly. Which is really funny. Sorry, Jessica, I didn't mean to shrug off your question. The Eddie twist is to be revealed. I can't tell you yet. That's the fun of the
Do
thing.
they have the same voice? I know that you do a really specific accent for
Well, Eddie was a character of Alex's.
Yeah.
So,
Do they have
Brianna
similar
and Michael
voice?
have a good question for Joe.
Oh, do-
have you worked your way through the previous body of Invictus?
No.
What's the question?
That would be a no.
Has Joe worked herself through the backlog of stuff?
Oh.
I believe in terms of homework, in getting ready to be on the stream after Harlan and I
Watched a bit.
I watched Swashbuckler's Life once,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll do this. Why not?
I get this. Colin
I
asked,
can mess around with these fools.
what are the future game ideas? Which is great. I want to play another game that Alex runs, another pirate one.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And
In fact,
Alex, it's funny. I was messaging you, or I was gonna message you today because I was looking up. I literally just Googled the best adventure modules,
That's a lot of
Yeah.
porn.
and there is this. It's not Dungeons and Dragons. It was just like any RPG, and one is a systemless pirate game, and it's like a hex crawl across a map that's like all detailed, and they actually sell like books for it. And I thought, man, I would love if Alex learned this and ran this for us. It was
That's fun.
so fun. I forget the name of it now, and it's not popping up.
I would love to run a Siege and Arrow for you boys.
Ooh,
I would love
to
that.
do a siege
Because
and air.
Michael did that for you guys back in the day, right?
Yeah.
It was really silly and a lot of fun.
I would love to do that.
I'd like
here-
to see short live action Siege and Arrows again.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant just like a tabletop
no.
deal.
Oh, you mean
No.
like the videos?
Yeah.
Ooh.
We only did like one of those, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's do
we
it.
only did one, did we?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we gotta involve Henry and Liam in there too.
Are,
Like, we gotta have a little short
that's
at the
so
cottage
fun.
this summer. What's that?
You
Also,
could go
yeah.
back and do like a prequel, and your sons will
Well-
be you.
I was thinking like a wizard goes poof, and then we just like go poof, and then they're wearing our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know? and they're
Okay,
like-
let's go.
I'll draw a little beard on Henry, and fuck, that'd be cute. I totally want to do that. Let's
Goatee.
do that this summer.
do you guys have very much experience with LARPing? Bob and Alex?
Are you asking, or is that a question from the stream?
No, I'm asking you guys.
I'll let Bob answer first.
LARPing,
Yeah,
just in my house. That's about it.
that's allowed.
Ooh.
Oh, is that a sexual LARP?
Yeah, what kind of LARPing are we talking about?
That's
I would say I LARP on almost a daily basis.
Yeah, you do.
Because but in all seriousness, no, I wouldn't say that I have any real experience with true LARPing, but I love it. I love the idea of it, and there have been numerous occasions where I've played in the forest with friends, pretending that, like, I was a dwarf or
Of
like an
course,
elf.
dude. You don't have to be embarrassed about being a fucking nerd.
No,
in
I'm
front
not.
Of us.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
not here.
I'm trying to think of exactly what.
Well,
Well,
I remember the first time I did. I lived in Indiana, and anybody that lives in the north knows the winters were harsh back in the early '80s. So me and about 7 of my friends, we went out and were LARPing, I guess. Got lost in a blizzard in the woods, and it was the first time I met this friend, but we could smell smoke, and we came up on a little hut. It was a little dome hut made out of rocks and trees and shingles and roof, the roofing material. And a guy had jerky and bread and cheese inside. So we all went into this little hut. It was like Yoda's hut in Empire Strikes Back. And he gave us jerky and cheese and
Oh my
stuff like
God.
that. And we waited for the blizzard to kind of clear out, and then made our way back through the woods and back home. So that
What
was
did
fun.
this guy look
Oh,
like?
that's
Do you
pretty wild.
remember?
Did he look like Yoda?
No, he was scruffy looking though.
Nice.
That's awesome. It's so funny because this is a bit of an offshoot, but well, first off, that's awesome. But the way you told that story, I don't know, Bob, if you have much like family that come from the UK, but the way you told that story, I don't know if any of you hung out with people that are like British, but they always tell jokes like that. Like, they're deadpan serious. You think you're hearing a story, and then it ends up being like a joke that they weave seamlessly into the conversation. And I 100% thought for a second that you were just making a really elaborate, funny joke. And I was like reeling up for it, like, oh, okay, I get where he's going. And I'm like, wait, so it was that much weirder when it turned out to be true. That's awesome, though.
It's as true as the turkey feather story.
We should go ice fishing.
I'm back up on Discord, by the way.
Oh, are you?
Mhm.
Well, let's answer a few more of these questions now that we got them going. Any more Invictus cons in the future? That was so much fun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have promised ourselves that we're going to do Invictus Con next year. It's going to be bigger, better. Alex will come this year.
I should be able to, yeah.
You did drop by, which I saw and appreciated. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You're in one of the panel things.
Yeah, that's right. You dropped in for a panel. That was really cute.
It was that was an exciting event, I have to say. I listened in on a few rooms, and I was pretty impressed. And I think what makes this the greatest thing ever, in my opinion, is the fact that it's not just like always us. It's a community of you guys all out there doing this sort of thing, and we're just kind of like, maybe the live Wednesday night entertainment. It is Wednesday.
And it's just not the community either. I don't know if Dimension Door was part of the community.
Yeah, they weren't.
But, branching out with Invictus Con to other groups, other RPG groups on Facebook. And
they're really good people, the Dimension Door cast.
Yeah.
They're James and Liz. They stop by the Discord every once in a while. And it's actually funny because it was too quick to do it this year, but next year I was like, man, we should have a podcast panel with other podcasts that want to stop by. They continually want to stop by for the Jackbox game night too. They're like, oh, we keep missing it. So it was a lot of fun, and it was something that I'm glad Bob is here actually to talk about real quick, because he was sort of the instigator of the whole thing, which is amazing.
Oh, was it? Really?
Oh yeah, it was
Bob's
all
idea.
Bob was like, obviously it was a joke, but he was like, so Invictus Con and
yeah, that's right. I remember reading that. Yeah.
And I think Joe and I were like, we could do it.
Yeah.
Let's run with it and make it happen. And it was very last minute, and with a bit more planning.
10 days later, we had a pretty good turnaround.
It was a fast turnaround.
Big turnaround. A fast turnaround. And this year we'll get Robin, because he's no longer a breakout coordinator. So maybe he can help us coordinate Invictus Con with all of his experience.
That's true.
But going back to Colin's question about what other systems and games we'd want to play, I would totally love to do another Star Wars game. Justin ran Age of Empire forever ago. I know Joe has played extensively Star Wars, Edge of the Empire. Wait, did I say Age of Rebellion? Did I say Age of Rebellion?
You said
Age of Empire, but Age of Rebellion. Yeah.
Age of Rebellion. I have almost all the Edge of the Empire books.
Which is what I played.
Yeah, and I've never got to play it. Or I got to play the Age of the Rebellion. But I would totally love to play or run one of those. I know
with
you
Donald
like
Faison.
with Donald Faison. Or not.
I've got files for everything. I mean, all the stuff that we've played. Like, do you remember A Spy Story?
Yeah. I have all the notes too. I have. So I have. This is
Dalton Precinct 13.
Yes.
The RPG.
Do you remember? What were you? Terminator. Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Chapters of the Undefeated. Remember Tados?
Yeah.
Actually, Rob Donaldson was just messaging me the other day. He has some old drawings from chapters, and he wants to color them. And he's like, what are the colors of these characters?
That's funny.
Claudius Tapas.
That was a good game.
Deadlands.
I had a lot of fun with that.
That's what it was. I had a really strong dream the other day about running the next campaign. You know what, Colin, to answer your question, after The Strange, I don't know what goes on in between, but I may want to run Deadlands, because I played Red Dead Redemption 2 recently and had such fond memories of Chris's game that I would totally, and we have all the cowboy costumes.
We watched Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, that's right.
Dancing with Wolves. It's like Dancing with the Stars.
It's a new show.
And in a year and a half, when The Strange gets over,
do
that.
I'm thinking too, Brianna and Michael say bring back Revenant, which would be kind of cute.
Yeah.
I know.
And there was
Bob,
also the Shadow
that was one of your
Run
favorites.
that I ran. Do you guys remember Shadow Run?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
With the turtles.
That was a campaign I ran.
But it was only 3 episodes.
It was only 3. You're right.
Yeah.
But it was.
That still counts.
It went far. That was a railroad. If you ever been on a railroad or what?
It was good though. I blame the system for that game. It's not your fault, because I think you had a good story, but that was a really shitty system.
Yeah.
But Revenant is one
Didn't we play a divorced couple? You and me in Shadow.
No, I think that was Chris's game, Horror Vacui.
Yes, Horror Vacui, where I had a French accent.
Was it Horror Vacui? No, not Horror Vacui. Horror Vacui was the one I ran. It was the one that Chris ran. What the fuck was that? Oh, Diaspora? No.
Diaspora. Yeah.
There was
Well,
one.
Was it with that? What was it? Like Without Stars or?
Yeah, it was something like that.
I played Kevin Mucho in Shadowrun. That's
you
right.
played Kevin Mucho.
Yeah.
Robert Liston's 300% mortality rate. That was one of my favorite games ever. One Horse
My
Town.
favorite game, my favorite idea for an RPG in this setting where we're doing it live has to be hands down Tales from the Brood.
Oh, that was fun.
The 3-part episodes.
Yeah.
You know?
I forgot about that. We should do another one of those.
Absolutely.
That was really
They
fun.
can kind of be, they're all self-contained and you can kind of like really be.
Did any of you, I don't remember who was in it, but I did one called One Horse Town, which was really funny. And everyone in the town was named Blake.
Yeah.
Yes, I was in that.
Were you in that?
I think you did that just for me.
Or was it you, me? Okay, I couldn't remember. I remember being really weird.
Katie wants to know, what would you recommend for people wanting to start a podcast? Some of my friends have been talking a lot lately about doing an RPG one.
I mean, we're not the people to ask. Our podcast is not getting off the ground.
It is.
Well, I just mean like
it's off the ground.
Well, let me tell you about your podcast real quick. My God, every week I listen to it, and I didn't have any questions. I listened to 2 episodes in a row when we were going to Aisha's parents, but I didn't have any questions about that. I know since The Strange has started, after the game is over, I have like a question, and I've been asking Joe and them. But the production quality and the editing, if I had an Oscar or an Emmy, I would give it to you guys just for production value.
well, thank you. That means
that's all Harlan and Justin. You know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm nervous about next week's episode actually, or tomorrow's episode, I should say. But we'll see what happens because this is the first one. Tomorrow is the first one we recorded
since the quarantine. Which gives you guys a little bit of an insight into how far in advance we have these guys in the barrel. We want to make sure that there's always going to be a show every week. So we have to like sit down and record 8 hours of show, and that turns into 4 episodes or whatever, and then Harlan spends 10 hours an episode editing the thing.
Going back to that question about what would be the best podcast. I was going to start off by saying that is the ultimate question. Mm-hmm. Like, what do people want to hear? And nobody can really answer, but I can, because here is the answer. And here's what you need to think about is what can you speak about that you will be so interested in, that you will be so enthusiastic about, that it rubs off on others? Because I agree. That's what I find interesting. Well, when someone is so like, okay, and this comes from our podcast. I love doing our podcast. I bring out my heart, and I play with heart, right?
Doran.
Sincerely.
I agree.
But I think with it doesn't matter what the subject matter. If you are passionate about it, that's going to be your best goal.
I totally agree with one caveat. Deciding what intention is first. And the only reason I say that is if your intention is to make a popular podcast, then I think that would change. Is all I mean to say. Some people sit down, they're like, I want to make something that's going to be really popular. Some people sit down and they say, I'm going to make something that's really true to me. And some people sit down and they say, I want to make something that's like everything else. And that's the only caveat I would change. Yeah. Other than that, I totally agree. Because ultimately, if you're like, I don't care if it's popular, doing something that you're absolutely passionate about and you're really excited to talk about is 100% true.
And I would also say make sure that everyone who is involved in making the podcast with you is going to be on the same page as you, because everyone knows how hard it is to get a D&D group together, especially if you want to do an actual play podcast. If you don't have the same level of commitment across all of the members, you're going to run into troubles right at the gate.
Yes. Absolutely. You have to be upfront with that. I was very clear with Alex. In fact, and this is kind of a little behind the scenes thing, And I don't think I'm stepping out of bounds to say
Wait,
it.
let's bring the curtain aside. Oh, behind the
Yeah.
curtain.
I mean, that's kind of what this is about. Well, yeah. Wait, you mean pull it back?
Yeah.
Yeah. It made it seem like you're drawing the curtain
No, I'm
across
taking the curtain
us.
away.
Okay. Pretty much up until the recording date. Actually, this is really interesting. This is really interesting Dice Shame trivia, which is kind of exciting.
You're gonna lay it all out there. Hey?
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting to know. This is probably days before our first episode of Dice Shame. Rob was not in the podcast. It was Chris. And literally,
I think it was like
it was the 11th
Friday,
hour,
and we were gonna record on the Sunday or something.
It was the 11th hour, and Chris called me and he said, I've been having doubts. I really love you guys and I love recording, but life is really hectic right now. And we were panicked because we did not want to make a podcast with just the four of us, Alex, Joe, myself, and Justin. We felt it wasn't enough. The first person, we sat around, we talked. We're like, what the fuck are we going to do? We sort of thought, we had at that point already played a few games with Rob, but Rob was also someone who's got a full-time job, and at that point I don't think we'd ever played D&D with him. We'd have played Call of Cthulhu and stuff.
We played Apocalypse World with him.
Yeah, but never D&D.
Yeah,
so we didn't know if he liked the system, and it was absolutely something that was the 11th hour. I messaged Rob and I was like, hey, we're starting a podcast. We would really love you to be in it. And I told him, he knows this. I said, Chris backed out at the last minute. You would be sort of helping us out. And let me say for the record, oh my God, not only, and this is the understatement of the century, not only did Rob save our asses, I am so happy, and this is in no way disrespectful to Chris, because Chris, I would say the same to him. I am so happy that this happened, because Rob is not only an amazing player, an amazing guy, and a really great balance to what we do, but he knows D&D better, as well as Joe.
Better than me.
No, but to the extent where there's episodes where he draws out the reaction. I remember that episode. It still floors me when he drew out the reaction of the creature attacking that woman. The mage woman, remember, in Golden Fields?
Even the somber parts about him struggling emotionally with his husband.
Oh yeah, boyfriend.
The drama in
Our
and
boyfriend.
his dad stuff, absolutely. And he played a wizard, which
think
Chris would have played a barbarian, which
he's the perfect balance for me. I think.
I totally agree. He plays so well off of
one
us.
Goofy extreme, and he's the other. Takes it. I wouldn't say too seriously, but
no.
Much more seriously than I do.
Totally agree. And it is an absolute joy having him on. So there's a little behind the scenes. Rob saved Dice Shame, and for that he will forever be... I should tell him now. Thank you. I want to answer this question from earlier, though. Brianna and Michael did say bring back Revenant. It wasn't a question, but it was a statement. And I was thinking, Bob loved Revenant, right? I
did love it.
And it was a game that I ran, and I really... appreciated running, but it's kind of in my DM sense, my brain, it's kind of done with it. But I would love to play Revenant, and I think that if Bob ever feels up to it, one of these weeks, one of these Wednesday nights, I think, Bob, you and I should talk. I think the mantle should be passed to a new version of Revenant, because I would absolutely play a game.
Unless Bob wants to play, because isn't Revenant the game show?
He would totally prefer to run.
No, that's Running of the Dead.
No, that's Running Dead. That's Justice.
Oh,
no, Revenant was the Saw-like killer, where you wake up, you don't know who you are.
And we talked about this a couple of years ago, and me and Ish actually went out to
I saw
this location,
and you locked yourselves in trunks and stuff?
No, but we made a video, and it was supposed to be his protege, I guess.
The son of Revenant type thing.
Right.
And I think if you want to make him your own, you can. But I think if you want to just take the mantle of Revenant, I would be okay with that too. However we want to work it, we'll have conversations. But long and short of it is, I want to see more Revenant. I don't necessarily want to play more Revenant, or I don't necessarily want to run more Revenant, but I definitely would want to play more Revenant, because that was a game that also involved the community a lot too. And I hope Bob would take that same approach. Basically, each community member got to design a room, and it was a lot of fun to play. And I would.
And I've ran one. I ran one with Chris Lawrence, Aisha, and Mike Fazio.
Yeah.
And Mike Fazio was the one that ended up getting out alive.
So fun.
But yeah, I put that at the like one of my top 3. I
Well,
like
I'm thinking you should run it for maybe Justin, Alex, and myself or something like that. One Wednesday night. Get the
I
3.
would be honored.
No
Well,
pressure.
No pressure. Brendan
So-
said I'd love to see more Call of Cthulhu. Brendan, always Call of Cthulhu will come back. It's funny because Dice Shame is a finite campaign because it is Storm King's Thunder. It may last 200 episodes, but it will be finite. And we've sort of very preliminary talked about what would happen after. And one of the ideas would be that, yeah, maybe season 2 could switch to a more somber tone. Who knows? So regardless, Call of Cthulhu will come back. Always come back.
Can I answer a question real quick?
Please do.
Yeah.
From Dead Echo Lucas. He says if he's curious if you guys know any SCPS games and would be willing to play. I love SCPs. I've got a list of them on my computer, my favorites, and I've actually got a game about 85% done dealing with SCP. So if Lucas wants to,
what is SCP?
okay, SCP, it stands for Secure, Contain, Protect, and it's like a secret government entity kinda, and they go out and did you all watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
Yeah.
You remember the Initiative?
Yes.
It's
They deal
kind
with
of
all
like
the
that.
spooky things.
Yeah, it's the government had like vampires, werewolves, other sorts of monsters and stuff locked up underground. It's kind of
Right.
like that, and they're all classified different. Some of them are benign. Some of them, if they get out, they can destroy
10.
the world. That kind of stuff. But yeah, I've got a game right here on my desktop, about 85% done. So I was thinking about throwing that out for the community too. So
That sounds fun.
if Lucas, you want to join that,
If anybody
we
is
can
ever
get it
looking
done.
to join or run games, make sure you talk in the RPG chat on Discord or in the Looking for Games. I know our good friend Bobby right now is looking for a game. I think they mentioned Thursdays. So
That
if you-
Monster of the Week.
Monster
game,
of the
I think?
Week. If you're looking to join Monster of the Week, message Bobby on Discord, a great friend of ours. They were posting
Not
in the
this
RPG. No, sorry.
Different Bobby.
Different Bob. You're Bob. This is Bobby. They were posting in the RPG chat and Looking for Games, so definitely message them. But if anyone, again, Bob's doing exactly right. If you want to get together for games, do. Zia asked, would you guys ever try 10 Candles? Haven't we done 10 Candles?
Not with me. I've always wanted to. I've never played it.
Okay, I've definitely played 10 Candles, but I don't think it was on stream. I think it was with the guys and Michael. I think it was maybe pre-stream. I've definitely played it. I would. Honestly, I didn't like it that much, but I would definitely play it again.
Never
it
heard
was
of it,
the-
actually.
You have candles in it. There's a Django one is the one
Really?
I'm confusing.
Doom.
Dread.
Dread.
You have candles in it?
Yeah, fuck off. I thought you were just being serious. I was like, yeah.
you've got
oh,
10 of them.
yeah. No, it's just a clever name. To second.
Would you have to
question.
finish the RPG before all 10 candles go out?
Yeah, there's a time, and when certain things happen, you blow them out.
Ah.
So the whole game is on a timeline, regardless, but some things
Okay.
speed it up.
Interesting.
Now, when all the candles go out, you die, right? Is that what the
Exactly.
deal is?
Yeah, or the story
Okay.
ends or something like that. If anyone
Or
is
you burn
asking
your
questions,
head, yeah.
by the way, tag me because I won't be able to see it. Honestly, I started listening to Dice Shame and thought Jack was such a stuffy jerk. His character development backstory has been amazing. I mean, I had my moments too, as Red, thinking he was a stuffy jerk. Anyone who's listens this far knows that there's a bit of headbutting
Friction.
between two characters, but I think that's what's really exciting about making
I
characters.
guess Mike and Brianna said that you wouldn't play it. It wouldn't play well on camera, so you didn't stream.
Which is true. However, I think since that point, we've also changed how we play games. We've done more games around the table, whether it be Extra Life or whatever. Like, for sure, Joe and I have the ability now, living together, to stream a game like this. So we may do... There's actually a few games we wanted to do in person like this. There's also a game where you play a couple. It's called Star-Crossed Lovers, and there's a Jenga tower. So we might do that at some point too.
We should just play Gunner and Sarge too.
That's fun. That's a LARP.
I know,
I've got a
but,
good
get into
question
that.
here.
but you could just put a camera up and we could get all dressed up like army gear and just do it. There's
Alex, you have a
soundtrack
question?
with it.
Jessica Orrit is hoping to run in D&D one shot soon and wants to know if Harlan and Joe have any tips.
Well, if anybody has tips, I think. Alex, why don't you give your tips first?
I'm still thinking of how to phrase it, so you start.
Yeah.
Joe's probably the
Joe's
best
the
for you.
one that run it. I've never run D&D. I'm not
I
very
think
good at it.
expectation is the most important thing. Like when you sit down with a group, you want to let them know, like, hey, this is gonna be like a silly game where you guys are all gonna be riding dinosaurs. Like, get excited about that, or like, this is going to be a really spooky, like, investigative dungeon crawl. Watch out for traps. Like, be on your toes, so that people don't feel blindsided by what it is that you're giving them.
Yeah.
Because I think when you prepare people for what you're really excited to run for them, they're going to get excited about it. But if Harlan sits down and he wants to have a really jokey game, and I don't feel that way, there's gonna be like a conflict that
100%.
you should try to get out of the way.
Setting the tone is kind of how we talk about it, and it's. I think it's true with any game. Talking about what your intentions are, it makes people ready for what they are.
And not only setting the tone, and here's where mine comes in, because I pulled this out before. This is the one I had written for the Chronicle Brewery night.
Hold on.
And
show that to the
Show
camera.
it to the camera. I love Alex is like, this is the RPG I wrote. There's like drawings all over. God, I love you.
I should pull out one of my like modules.
It's really cute.
So that's how Alex
There's a little
writes a game.
skull.
I end up with 5 different colors of highlighters, like and post-it notes and shit. Like, just prepare the way that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and here was what I have found has worked the best is not only set the expectations, but also setting the scene and giving your players something to really bite into, so that they can jump into the game. It's not like, for this one, it's got this big kind of like monologue starting, right? And then I come out of the monologue and I say, this is what you consider to be a classic dungeon crawl, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line, though, is, and like that's setting the expectations. The first part is setting the scene, Oh, this is where you are. Instead of saying, okay, you're in the woods, right? Because you're always in the woods, or you're always in a cave. You're always in a dungeon, right? But why do your characters want to do this? And what's stopping them from just saying, like, well, I'm going to go to the nearest town and make a sword? Like, you've got to give your players something in their hearts that they need to, that they want to, and have that goal to find. That's my advice.
A good point. No, I think that is. I have a question. Is Chapters of the Undefeated ever going to come back?
Maybe.
Because I remember it ended with the baby being thrown into the water.
You drowned a baby.
We drowned a baby, and like that was it. I would totally. I mean, it's tough now because Dice Shame, you're already running D&D, so it's already so, you know what I mean, like laborious in that matter. So going back to back D&D, but that was a ongoing that I thought was pretty fun. I enjoyed playing.
Chapters was really special to me.
Yeah.
That was the first like long form, like, campaign that I ran for you guys. That was my wheelhouse, D&D, and was something that I totally invented for you guys.
Was that just the 4 of us? Alex, myself, Justin, and you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris was going to play that, but he couldn't. He got too busy.
And then, I mean, I really liked Feng Shui a lot.
That was fun.
And I had a ton planned for that series that I would also like to come back to.
But Michael left that one.
Yeah.
That was a game that I really enjoyed for what it was, but never really felt too connected with, I think,
Jack
Jack's.
Green?
I love Jack Green. No, I loved him, but it was like a world that I didn't fully understand, I think. It's just not my, you know what I mean? Like the world of Shadowrun, despite the terrible rule system, I get. I'm like, okay. But I because I never really grew up with many Kung Fu movies in that vein, I never really connected. What's so funny, Alex?
I'm reading Bob's comment. If you liked Alex's drawing, you should see his MS Paint stuff. And I have a file folder of like shit that I've done.
Oh yeah, some of the stuff.
I should just like share my screen. Can I do that?
Alex, you should send us that folder so we can send it to the Patreon group.
Yes.
They can get little tidbits.
I mean, talking about work in progress. Here are my work in progress folders, because I have stuff like Alex too. A Day in Pompeii, Blackstone, a game called Extinction, a game called Feed Me, one called Ghost, Hellstar, I Killed You, Sabotage. I can't read that one.
Yours are always really, really dark, I find.
No, The Hand of Clarence Madison Daly, The Museum of Ventriloquism, Teenage Mutant Ninja Ferrets.
That's very good.
You should do one for Disney World.
Well, we did a End of the World at Disney World.
Was that just in person at Chronicle though?
Oh, no, I think. Oh yeah,
I don't
that was
remember
never
that.
on the stream.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What?
I did an End of the World with for that existed in Disney World, but I guess that was my convention game. You're right. I only ran it at conventions, so Carly probably would have played it. Alexi asked a long question. I'm
It's a
sorry.
great question.
Very Alexi to start off with. I'm sorry. Do you want to read it, Alex?
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet, so you can read it.
What are some of the most meaningful or impactful RPG experiences you've had? First part of the question.
Well, I can answer that right away because I remember it very distinctly, actually, and it's pretty perfect because it was at a convention. I had a table. It was an End of the World game, which is a zombie survival game, and it might have even been that game. So how funny is that? But there was a girl who sat at the table. She was probably 15 and very convention younger girl, because she was dressed up like a character that I didn't recognize, some anime character. And her dad and her mom sat at the table too, but they didn't sign up for the game. They're just like, oh, we're staying here or whatever. And she sat down super quiet and said, this is the first RPG I've ever played. And I was so excited because that is like the best opportunity to set someone on a path of liking something. So I did it in like the straightest way, being like, look, you get to be whatever version of yourself you want to be, because it was the End of the World. You play yourself. And she's like, well, I don't really fight much or whatever. I'm like, perfect. Let's build your character, aka you. What do you like? And she ended up being like the empathy side of the group. And I remember there was a scene later in the game where she was like, no one could deal with this little kid, and she was like, okay, you coming with me? And beyond the fact that she totally went from this quiet, didn't want to disturb, because she's playing with like 40, 50-year-old dudes, who are like gaming for years and years and years. But by the end of the game, she's like leading the pack and being like, okay, guys, come on, we can do this. It was so fucking cool at the end when she stood up and she was like, that was such a good game. I felt so, and it wasn't a selfish feeling in the sense of I did a good job. I mean, it's selfish to a degree, but it was so good to feel somebody enjoy a role playing in such a pure form. It was best experience, hands down. It was so good. Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's a great answer, because that's exactly what it's all about. People coming out of their shell, for a lot of this.
And I think being introduced in a way, because, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but this is true. Another GM could have made that one of the worst experiences that she had that weekend. And that to me is kind of, you're really, as a GM, especially at a convention, you're really given an opportunity to like show people what a world of role-playing games can be. And some people squander that and it sucks. Some people ruin it and it's terrible. And then some people elevate it and you're like, oh wow, this is amazing. And that was definitely a moment, aside from myself, that she left with an elevated feeling of RPGs. And that was absolutely the best feeling ever.
Here's the next question.
Well, what about you guys?
Oh.
What about you? You must have a moment like that.
No, I mean, I've run a lot of RPGs over the years for strangers at conventions, and when I was like a community administrator for the Toronto area gamers, and like a lot of very similar experiences to what Harlan has talked about, where you have someone new at your table who has never really tried role-playing games, and maybe they're like a kind of shy person, and you see the way that pretending to be whoever they want to be and doing whatever they want to do can like free them in a way that I find very rewarding. And introducing women and, you know, people from different communities to the hobby especially is really rewarding for me. I think that's awesome. And honestly, just meeting people and broadening my own community and making new friends is awesome. To sit down at a table where you don't know a single person and to walk away like high-fiving folks is amazing.
Yeah, I have like some of the people that I run games for at conventions like add me on Facebook afterwards, which is a really nice feeling. And actually, to just bookend that girl, I remember one of the best moments during that game was when her parents got up and left, and they were like, okay, like this guy's
gonna be okay.
Exactly. Like they knew who I was. It was such a compliment without saying anything. They just got up and they're like, oh, you're fine, we'll come back later. Like it was really nice because it was very clear, understandably so, because I would be the exact same with Henry or anybody if I sat down and be like, I want to make sure this GM is not gonna fucking be an absolute prick. But
yeah, you never really know what you're gonna get.
Alex had more part of his question. Alexi had more.
Yes. When you plan for doing a game, do you decide on a system first or a theme and pick a system to match this theme? And do the system's mechanics contribute to creating said meaningful experience, or is it more of the group of people you play with?
For me, it's a very simple answer. I always pick the theme and find a system that matches, and I negate or remove mechanics that I don't think suit that. And the prime example is The Strange. I was like, I want to tell a Guardians of the Galaxy / Monty Python / zany Buckaroo Bonanza, or whatever that fucking one is.
Buckaroo Banzai?
Buckaroo Banzai, like adventure. And then I found The Strange afterwards to suit that, and then all the shit in The Strange that I don't think suits that, I cut out. And I do that with everything. I'm like, and if it doesn't work with a system, I'll just use a system I know and cut out everything else. Like, if I can't find an ultimate system to encompass what I want, I'll just use Call of Cthulhu because I know it the best, and I'll cut out everything else. Even Call of Cthulhu, I cut out all the magic because I think the magic is stupid.
And I'm the opposite. On your first part there, you pick I picked the system first. Yeah.
Interesting.
But, even, like you said, magic and Call of Cthulhu, I don't think I've ever used magic in Call of Cthulhu.
It's dumb.
And when I did the vampire game, I did away with some other stuff that was going to bog that down. So it's like, we're just going to do it. And some people when we uploaded it, was like, well, how come you didn't do this? If you ran across a vampire, you would freak out. And it's like, no, that I threw that out because
the whole
I don't want to roll the dice every 5 minutes.
No, me neither. And some of it is just unnecessarily punishing or tedious or just doesn't reward anything. What about you?
I want to speak to the second part of that question. Do the system's mechanics contribute to creating the meaningful experience, or is it more of the group of people you play with? To me, honestly, it feels like, and I'm going to make a cooking analogy here, where the people that you are playing with are the ingredients in your dish and the mechanics are the way that you're cooking them. Like, you put Harlan and me together, it's always going to be a Harlan and Joe game. No matter what the game is that we're playing, like, that's going to change the dish somewhat.
I fade into every role. What are you talking about?
But in the end, I think the most important thing is being together with a group of people who are ready to have fun. Then like the mechanics can like spice that experience.
Well, actually, and I will say though, and I do like this about certain systems. There are certain systems that have really unique mechanics that I think can add a lot to the way you play. For instance, I do like The Strange because of the mechanic with the GM intrusions. That's something completely unique to The Strange. I've never played a game where you roll a 1, or at any point you can just be like, hey, if you fuck up this roll, I'll give you something for it. So I do think that also contributes to a meaningful experience for sure, because it forces you to think a little bit more. Doesn't mean it's always a good thing, but they definitely can help that.
Can I go back to the first part of that question real quick?
Please do.
No.
Yeah.
If you've got a minute, I'm going to go back to 1999.
Ooh.
What are some of the most meaningful or impactful RPG experiences?
Yeah.
I met some people here in town that play or play Dungeons and Dragons. So I started hanging out with them, and we started playing. Several years later, they introduced me to a friend, which turned out to be Aisha.
Oh,
So
There you go.
If it wasn't for RPGs and me playing RPGs with this certain group of people, I would have never met Aisha. So
Sweet. And I was gonna say something mushy about you.
oh,
but
hey.
chicken
I
out.
mean, put it this way: we can say this: RPGs have definitely helped
Love
our lives,
connections.
Bob. Everyone's saying the Disney game was on stream, so I apologize.
Everyone's
And you know what? I remember
shared
because
hallucination.
remember Rin. Maybe you didn't play it with me, but Rin was one of the people in the suit. Rin Reagan played that game. I remember, or she appeared in game as a character.
and I remember that, but I
Yeah.
thought it was just like somebody said the Fan Expo, and I didn't know it was a Disney World. I couldn't remember that.
Yeah. Look at the fucking Opinion 1000. Alex, you're just posting pictures.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Here's a picture of Chris doing Deadlands and Chris Lawrence playing all of our characters.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have so many fan pictures if that's where we're going because
Yeah.
yeah, I keep a USB from the beginning of all of this that has just I have a folder of beards. That's just me with all my different beards over the years. That someone posted and I saved. Art, fan art. This one's Kevin Costner as a Jedi. I think these are Alex's, maybe? No. These are Call of Cthulhu. I mean, you picked
I have some embarrassing ones if you
Oh,
want.
here, I have one of Bob. This is Bob leaning on End of the World. This is my favorite. Here's my favorite picture that a fan ever drew for me. That's Rin. Rin did that one. Here's the Timothy stream. Also my favorite.
There's
That's not
Harlan.
embarrassing. I love
Just
it. This was a wonderful gift that Brianna and Michael sent of the Call of Cthulhu characters, which I don't think I had an opportunity to. This is John Reagan sent this. Ebenezer Buckles. Man,
okay, here's one that's embarrassing for you, Harlan.
Here's Blue Rose. That Carly did. Give me an embarrassing one. That's not embarrassing. I'll do that now.
Sort of embarrassing.
Not even. I thought you were gonna send the monkey one where we're running around with monkeys.
Oh yeah.
I have that one somewhere. Let me find that one real quick.
I'm Ebenezer Buckles. That was great. What
I don't remember who that was
It's
even
a great
from.
drawings.
Yeah. So many.
They're like real artists.
Remember this one too? Look at this one. This is a great one. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
From the fucking photo shoot?
Yeah.
There's some good ones. Here I have all the original ones too.
So, is anybody still here with us?
Yeah, people are still here.
Oh, don't boast me.
They're good. They're fucking funny.
Can't remember. I was gonna say something.
It's of a file that says Joe says cunt.
That one with all our faces cropped on.
Yeah, the Mormons or whatever that was. I don't even know where
Yeah.
that's from.
Ah, Megs, that's nice. She missed us.
Yeah, she missed us.
We've always been here. Oh, here's one of the old guy.
Quest Core.
Michael.
Harlan, how did you meet Joe?
Harlan met me on Meetup.
Yeah,
He was looking for more.
a new member of the community, or a new member of the whatchamacallit? Invictus stream. What is this thing we do? Yeah, Meetup is like a friendly.
It's like platonic matchmaking.
Meeting friends?
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on Meetup looking for people to play RPGs with, and Harlan was looking for people to play RPGs with.
Well, at that point, like Michael was waning. Alex had
Always waning.
Liam. Well, it was very clear that everyone was sort of starting to lose interest.
Chris had just had Rowan.
Or no, it was even before
Chris
that.
was gonna have a
Yeah,
baby.
I think everyone was just sort of like, all right, we've been doing this for a long time now. So I was like, all right, we need some fresh blood. And frankly, I was like, we got enough cocks waving on the screen. Let's get some more diversity. And you don't have a cock, I don't think.
So he was like, hey, Joe is an organizer for Toronto area gamers. She probably knows a thing or two about RPGs. And then we chatted, and yeah, I became part of the stream. And that's how I came to be an Invictus.
That's how it came to be.
Zia tried to find board game bros, but everybody was way too competitive.
Yeah, Invictus is the best.
Board game bros? I miss Michael too, Megan. The last thing I messaged Michael was...
Oh, don't get sad.
Not sad. Just... Let's see. I messaged Michael on April 26th. I said, hey, Michael, hope you're doing well during this time, thinking of you. And you can see all of the messages he's responded to in that time. Okay, fine. It's just nothing.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
Could be. Maybe I don't have his number anymore. Who knows? Yes, Bob, your boy there.
Who's that?
That's Dennis Collins.
What?
Dennis Collins. Hello.
The Dennis Collins.
The Dennis Collins.
All right.
Oh, these are the pictures I was looking for. I have 3 folders: art, images, and
I don't know where all half the stuff went.
And photos.
Here's a creepy one for y'all. I don't know. Somebody did this art for us.
I remember that.
That's great.
I got this one. Do you make a demumu? I don't even know what that's from, but it's hilarious. Do you make a demumu?
Oh, Mike Kyle just got back now.
Oh, hey,
Hi,
Mike.
Mike.
We've just been sharing stuff. Photos, images. This is a Slamo shirt from Alex, probably. Here, this is the one I thought you were going to share, Alex.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't even play. That was just, hanging around. On
you want to see one? Here's Chris
That's
and I.
real life LARPing.
Here's Chris and I. Did I share this photo? That's Chris. Oops, that's Chris right there.
Yeah.
That's me.
I know. You look
That's me.
great.
Scouts.
And here's one of Justin and I. Here's one of Alex and I.
I'm really glad that you don't have any pictures of me from this age.
Yeah, it's not the.
It's not a very flattering age.
What was that for?
That was a murder mystery party. It was a murder mystery. The one with you and me?
Well, that's at your place.
Yeah. Is this?
Well,
it's a variant on Slamo.
I might go to bed.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's stop
This
sending
is
photos.
not-
Sorry. That's funny though.
Wait.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's a good one, Bob. All right. I don't think there's any other questions. We're just
Good
reminiscing.
game. Good game.
Yeah.
Good game, everyone.
Sorry we didn't run a game tonight. I blame Discord. We will try again next week, but this has been fun. You got to see some behind the scenes Dice Shame stuff, some old pictures, I guess, answered questions. MVP is going to go to Aisha and Alexi for such a great, thoughtful question, Alexi.
Agreed.
And I'm thinking, not only has this reminded my love of the stream and the community and all that kind of stuff, reignited, I should say, but yeah, I definitely Alex. I think top of the list, sometime soon, Siege and Arrow reunion.
Okay, Arrow.
Quiet, Sage. He's basically red, but like dumber. So, and yeah, I'm excited for that. I think a Revenant game, Bob, start writing because I'm excited to play that, and then more Strange. I think this has been really, you know what, this was needed, guys. This was just a reinvigoration of all the amazing games that are coming. And I know Justin wants to do another Justin Reads, and who knows, maybe I can twist his arm and get him in on an RPG. The funny thing is, Chris has been dying to join an RPG. It's just his internet is terrible.
Yeah, he can't do it.
He is someone who I think it sucks because he would totally sit in any night of the week, especially during these times. But he just doesn't have the capability right now. So,
Well, you two hug up. Alex and Chris will hug up together.
done. Well, it's funny. The last game that Chris played, he did come over and use
For
Joe's
sure.
computer because she was working. Hi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. That's
Yeah.
what this was.
Sorry that was such a shit strange game.
That's
but
okay. The
I
beginning
even had
sucked,
a
but
theme song written and everything.
oh, what was the
Save
theme
it for next
song?
week.
I want to hear it.
No, okay,
No,
fine.
I'm gonna have to save it for next week because
Okay,
it just doesn't. It's not a good song. It's just a strange song.
I like it.
So
Like strange magic or Pichukaki Pidebois.
probably the second
more
one.
like the second one. It starts with boinga, boinga, boinga.
Well, you got a whole week. You could actually like record it with a guitar and I could play it.
Actually, I might just do that.
Do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Alex. Thank you.